If you're on an e-commerce platform and you sell to businesses, you have to implement this new model to stay ahead. Because with everything happening now in the technology and the go-to-market space, the way how businesses buy is changing fast. That's why your Meta and Google spends are going up without getting more conversions. We implemented this system for a brand and it generated $400,000 in converted revenue on their website without ever talking to anyone in 4 months. And in this video, I'm going to talk a bit more about how to implement the system for your company. So I want to start by understanding where the money currently is leaking. And we're talking about e-commerce brands that have an average order value of about $500. But then when a business places multiple orders, reorders is a repeat business, you're running a high LTV business. Because if a business buys 10 times, you're getting $5,000 in revenue. Nevertheless, you're probably acquiring these people through pay-per-click. Take Meta, take Google, whatever. And there's kind of a mismatch there because the way you find the customer towards how valuable they are to your business is misaligned. If you're spending $50 to acquire a $5,000 company and your ad spend is going up, you have to find a new model to draw them in. And every new inbound lead that comes in that buys something on your website proves that there is a business out there that didn't know you exist in the first place. And currently everyone is waiting for those companies to come to them, or to see an ad, or to see them on Google, while there are companies out there that are doing this completely differently. They're reaching out to these companies before they even know they exist. And that model is exactly what generated 400 grand in revenue. And yes, this is the best screenshot I can show you. I'm not able to share all the information about this customer, but I do want to share that's an actual result we got from emailing 304,000 people, resulting in 11,000 website visits and about 500 total conversions. You do see that the website conversions are high in regards to how many visitors there were. We're not able to attribute the website visitors 100%. Nevertheless, their website is optimized for conversion. So this is why high AOV e-commerce is built for outbound if you're selling to businesses. Because outbound used to be a very SaaS thing. It's like, okay, these SaaS companies do LinkedIn outreach to sell their software to you, but it's not the case anymore. Because currently you can get such good unit economics that you can even make this work for an e-commerce platform. And because most e-commerce brands currently think, hey, outbound is for software companies, it's not being utilized currently enough as much as it could be. And that gives you an advantage you want to use right now. So let's do some math here. If your average order value is $500 and a customer buys 2 to 4 times from you, you get about $1,000 to $4,000 in lifetime value from that customer. Let's say your margin is 30%, that would result into like $300, $1,200. So the acquisition cost you should be able to afford is $50 to $70. And that's probably the same cost per conversion you're currently paying for Meta or Google. Except with ads, you hope the buyer sees it. You send it to the actual right person. With outbound, you choose exactly who it goes to. And there's nothing wrong with running ads and there's nothing wrong with inbound. And inbound isn't necessarily that much better than outbound. Inbound is something you have to attract. So it's a very different channel, where outbound is something you can actually do on your own. You don't even need to wait for anything. You can just execute today. So inbound is more passive. You build the channel, you optimize the funnel, and then you wait for someone to show up. Outbound completely flips that. We don't wait for anyone, we go out and find them. It gives you a more stable revenue stream. And for e-commerce, for any kind of business, that is super important. And this is something you can do today towards B2B. And of course, it depends on what you sell, but the demand is everywhere. Corporate gift buyers pulling orders right before Q4, office managers buying supplies on a recurring basis. There are facility teams that buy cleaning products every time they need it. And there are promo merch buyers just sourcing brands and buy from their current suppliers because they're just used to it. So they have a budget, they have a recurring need, and they just don't know you. And that last part is the gap we're trying to close with outbound. So if we look inside this system, there's a clear starting point. So if I can tell you a bit about the company we worked with, it was very clear. They were doing somewhat high AOV. They had about $800 per converted customer on their website, their average order value, and a customer came back 3 or 4 times every year. So their lifetime value was pretty high. Their retention was good. The problem they found is that the marketing channels they used to use were not converting as well as they did before. They were running into pay-per-click issues, SEO not resulting into anything anymore, and direct mail not bringing what they hoped it would. So it used to work, but now it's just a very high cost that's not resulting into anything. They didn't have a system to get net new buyers, B2B, on demand. So we stepped in and we built this system. We started with 4 very clear tools. We had a maps scraper to find any kind of business, because in their case, they would sell to anyone. We used SendKit to send emails from at scale. We used Icemail to build the infrastructure to actually send these emails, actual domains and mailboxes that are made to land in a primary inbox of someone you've never communicated to before, and then Claude Code to personalize at scale, thousands, millions of records at a time. So then how it actually works, like we start with the list. We create the list and we make sure that it's high volume. Same with ads. There are thousands of people that see your ads, and there's a handful of people that actually buys. With this system, it's the same thing. You have to send high volume to actually convert people. Sending at high volume is the strategy. It's not the same as spray and pray, but I'll get to that in a moment. The second part is running personalization. Claude Code pulls one specific detail per prospects and puts that into the opening line to make sure that we break the pattern, so they don't fall into the same inbox and the same deleted part that everyone goes to. It goes a step further than just saying, hey, first name. It's actually mentioning something about their business. So here we have a few examples. Claude will go online and find a specific information piece about this business. What makes them special, what's something we can compliment them on, and what's something we can then personalize our email on. So this specific email opened with a compliment, and it's just based on stuff we can find on them online. How they build custom containers and modular structures faster than anyone else. Or here, how they guide these people towards investors and real estate closing. Or this last one, how they bring Germany's best cookies to the US. And in some cases, if there's nothing to be found to personalize on, there are 2 ways. We can fall back to a standard value, or we don't send that email. So then let's get back to the spray and pray part, because that's not this. I do understand where this is coming from, because we're doing it at high volume. But the thing with spray and pray is that it's a bad offer towards anyone that just has an email address. And that's not what we're doing. It has similar logic, but it's not the same. The logic we use here is that the volume is what we're going after. Because in this case, we're working mainly with demand capture offers. This is not something you wake up with and there's so much pain that you need to buy this product. This is demand capture. We have to find these people and reach them at the right moment, and then they'll buy. So if we then get like 1 to 3% reply rate and we close 10%, then we need volume to actually hit some serious numbers. And sending less isn't more targeted, it's just less, and it will result in less output and less revenue for you. And that resulted in 1.2 million emails sent over 4 months. That's relatively high volume, but definitely could have been much more. But it was the test case. And this resulted in $400,000 in revenue closed, converted on their website without ever talking to anyone. Steady replies and consistent reply to close on the website. And because they were repeating B2B buyers, the accounts were kept ordering. So why did this specifically work? The reason it worked is very logical. The most important thing is that you have to email people with something they're actually interested in. The offer has to be good. It has to be a proven offer. We have to know, okay, people are actually looking for whatever we're currently selling. Because if we email someone that can't even buy what we're offering in the first place, or is not at all interested to what we're offering, then there's no reason to email them. And then the campaign will fail. In this case, we had a well-structured offer towards businesses that buy this product already. They just buy it from somewhere else. And we gave them the nudge to buy it from in this case, our customer. Then it comes to handling the replies and handling the follow-ups. There are a bunch of brands that nail the send and then fumble in the follow-up. This is very common with outbound agencies, but also just companies that run it themselves. And the follow-up is actually where the money is. If there are pricing or spec questions, then a human replies on the same day. You have to set it up in a way that it's handled within minutes. The lead is behind its computer now, is looking at the website now, he has a question now, you have to act now to convert them. Don't let them raise their hand and wait for days before you reply on it. And offer a discount or something specific to them to get the step low for them to try you out the first time. You're not trying to show off that you're like a discount providing company that always works with discount and you're the lowest in the industry. No, that's not where we're going after. But we're nudging them the first time to buy from us and not with their usual provider. Then with that, set up follow-up campaigns to make sure that once you send them the discount code, you follow up with them a week or 3 weeks later asking like, hey, we sent you the discount code. Did you actually find anything? Do you have any questions? And score the company against your ideal profile to see if it's an A tier, B tier, or C tier. And if it's an A tier and they responded positively to your campaign, let one of your sales reps call them up. Because most of the times you can probably sell way more to them if you go personal. Then a quick note on Europe, because we work with a lot of European companies as well. And while we ran this in the US, it's similar in Europe. The only thing you have to take into account is GDPR, because the legal way to do this in Europe is just going to be very different. You can still hit massive scale. You can still email millions of people and get thousands of conversions on your website, but you have to be way more strategic per country on how you do this. I made a completely separate video on how GDPR and cold email works in Europe. So make sure to watch that. That will answer some questions there. But when it comes to GDPR, it's fairly simple. Document everything you do, make opt-out easy, and make sure you care about the prospect you email. Make sure they really know why you're emailing them and not someone else. So bottom line, if your AOV is higher than $500 and your retention is well, then make sure you reach the buyers at the exact place they're currently buying and not sticking to models that are not working. And if you want us to build this for your brand, then feel free to click the link below and reach out to us. I'll also leave all the tools, links to the tools I mentioned below so you can find those as well. Cheers.